Hello and welcome back to CAD for Horticulture. And today we're going to go over setting up drawing. First thing I'm going to do is come down here, and this is kind of my base drawing. You might be able to open up a template if you're opening up a clean install of Autocad, but it should look about the same. First thing we're going to do is click on the A, come down here to Drawing Utilities, and then go up to Units. Since we're working in feet and inches, we're going to switch this from decimal to architectural. Then I'm going to change the precision to about ½ an inch. That will not overwhelm us with so many decimal places, but that'll be very useful. And then we'll say OK. Now that we have units set up, let's go up and set a paper size. So we can go into the layout. When you click on the layout for the first time, this should appear, and we'll say modify. First thing we're going to do is pull up a printer or plotter, and you'll have to ask your lab or wherever you're working where the best plotter to pick would be. I'm going to pick up my Canon IPF 610 since it does have a letter size, which is shown right here under paper size. The next thing I want to do is click on the Layout tab, and I want to pick Window. From there, I want to click just inside this dashed line. What this dashed line going around the drawing is, that's the margin of your paper. So that is outside the printable margin, anything between there and the edge of the paper. So we want to select inside that margin to begin with, and then come down to here. We'll say, also want to do pick monochrome. So you can just start out with the monochrome. That make sure that everything will print in black and white. Plot scale, we want to make sure that keeps at 1:1. Offset, a lot of times I will click the center of the plot. And then under options, I'm not really going to be too concerned with those at this time. Print quality, normal, and landscape, we can always change those in the print preview window. So let's say OK, and then we'll close. So now we have our page set up for 8.5 by 11. When we click this solid rectangle in the middle is your viewport. You know it's a viewport because there are no midpoint grips, and you can grab one of the corner grips and move this, and it will keep everything parallel and square or in a rectangle. So I'm going to move this around just a little bit and make room for a title block. Hit escape to get rid of the grips. Now I'm going to start the rectangle command just by typing it into the keyboard. And I'm going to click down. My O snaps are on, so it's locking off that viewport, which is fine. I'm going to click there, and since we're on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, I'm going to give it a command that says at, so we're using a polar coordinate system. So from that point, we're going to go 1.5 inches in the X direction, and then 8 inches in the vertical or the Y direction. So we will type in 1.5. Everything defaults to inches unless you specify feet. We're going to do the comma, and then we'll say 8 and enter. And that just filled up this space with a 1.5 inch by 8 inch rectangle for a title block. It's a little off center, which is fine. We can adjust that in a little bit. Next thing I want to do is set up text. So to set up text, let's go up and click on the Annotate tab. And I already have some text set up, so I'll just kind of go over how we did that. You can click on the little arrow going down and to the right. That'll bring up this dialog box. If you don't have these already set, like I have title block, let's change that. We need to add a new one called paper space. So I already added a model space. So in model space, I've selected a font. It's regular instead of being bold, italic. We're going to select regular. Annotative, when you're just learning, I please want you to turn annotative off. And then for a height, 2 feet, not upside down, not backwards, with a width factor of 1. So I can go ahead and say set that one current just for fun. Then I'm going to click on the new tab, new button, and I'm going to call it paper space. And select OK. Then for paper space, I'm going to keep the same font, regular. The only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to go in here and put in 1/8 inch. Now 1/8 inch is a different default than we have set up for our tolerances. Our tolerances are at 1/2 inch. So when I hit enter, 1/8 inch is going to disappear and show 0 feet 0 inches, but it will take the 1/8 inch height. And there it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this and start text. So up here I like to use single line text. So I clicked on that. I'm going to start up at the top. And here we want your company name, in this case your student name. If we go down and read the command line, we're asked for a specify rotation angle of text. 0 is the default, 0 is fine. I'm going to press enter. Now that's going to disappear. It's going to ask for the text. So I'm going to put in the default, just say my company. And then I'll maybe say student name. You'll notice in single line text, it is letting me continue to type in lines of text automatically spaced. And a phone number. So 303-XXX to be filled in later. When I press enter, it's going to return for one more line of text. I'm done entering text, so when I press enter another time, it'll get me out of the command and my text will be there. But if you go back and click on this, you can double click quickly and it's fully editable, so you can edit this at any time. Now I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to do text one more time, so I'm going to go up here. Now that I have single line text as the default, all I have to do is click on the A and it started my text. It's asked me for a justify or style. I am happy. And notice that this is in paper space. So I set up that paper space so my text height is 1/8 of an inch automatically. Now I'm going to click where I want my text to start. It's asked me for a rotation angle. This time I want it to go vertical. So I'm going to put in 90 degrees. Now you'll notice that the carriage return is still going horizontal. And that's just so you can read it. Once you hit enter, it's going to flip that 90 degrees. So I'm going to say my client's name, address, city, and state as all just placeholders that I can edit at any time. So I press enter, it's going to look for one more line of text. I'm done. I'm going to press enter again and it automatically rotates. And now for the bottom part of my title block, I'm going to do the copy command. I'm going to come up here and grab these 3 lines of text. I'm going to bring them down to the bottom. I'm going to turn my ortho on, F8, click down here. Down here, typically, we're going to say we need a date. We need a drawn by. And I also put my written scale. So scale in that bottom part. I click anywhere on the screen. I'm all done editing. I'm going to hit escape again to exit out of there. So that is how I set up my basic drawing. I'm going to come up here to the A. I'm going to say save as, and I'm going to call this my base drawing. Once I save this, nothing else will ever have to happen with this drawing. I can, as long as I don't overwrite this drawing, base 13 for release 13, and I'm going to save it. So whenever you open up a new drawing, start a new project, open up this drawing and rename it immediately to what the project is you're working on. Thank you very much. Hope you're learning something.